I think Jerod wanted to be the guy to replace Bill more than he wanted to be the next head coach of the England Patriots, if that makes sense.
And it cost them.
Right.
It absolutely makes sense. Yeah, it cost them though.
He was
It
our
cost.
candidate.
You didn't. But that's what it wasn't thinking things through. There's a reason why he went into business after leaving football. I'm not sure he loved football all that much after all them injuries and all that went on, and that's fine. That happens. Bill brings you back to be a coach, saying that you can do this. You're building your cachet as a play caller. With Steve and with Brian. But then once them guys leave, it looks a little suspect. That's not a notch to your belt under your belt.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you the turning point for me?
Yeah,
the real turning point for me. I don't think we talked about this. Overtime against the Titans. He didn't know which way the wind was blowing that day, so he picked the wrong end zone to play from. How do you not? How like that? That was something that we took for granted so much with Bill over the last 23 years. There's nothing that happened on the football field that Belichick didn't know about, mainly because he was recording it illegally. But even still, like he had a good sense of everything that was happening.
Right.
And now this guy doesn't know what end to play from.
Crazy.
It just felt like you hired him to be a good communicator. He sucked at communication. You hired him because he was going to be a player's coach, which, by the way, has had a negative connotation on sports talk, on sports podcasts for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a lot of the players that signed up last year, by the end of the season, were kind of over Jerod. So he lost the locker room. He didn't do anything in terms of, I wouldn't say that there was any intricate play calls on the defensive side, which should have been his forte. DeMarc Covington, I can't believe he still has a job. So he should be fired too. The one thing I do want to talk about, I can't believe I'm going to say this. You're new to me. I don't think you need to fire Alex Van Pelt. They're going to, but he is the most qualified. Now, this could be like he's the best of the worst, but he is the most qualified assistant coach on that team. And just look, somebody had to get Joe Milton up for that game. He knew he wasn't told he was going to play until the game started. Now I know he was playing against threes. I get that. I'm not saying like let's not the next starting quarterback.
Quick aside, it's unreal how good he looked yesterday. I don't care if it's NFL talent.
Yeah. Who got him ready for that? Who called that game? Alex Van Pelt.
It basically was Robert Kraft.
Because if Kraft called that game, they would have literally just handed it off right down the middle the entire game and lost. So like you saw Drake get better and more comfortable. I'm just saying, I know that this is
making the reversal. To be the play caller.
Sure, but there is something to consistency because now you run into a situation where it's going to be Drake's second offensive scheme in a second year, and if you do that, you're on the course to ruin him like you did Mac. Although this guy is far more talented than Mac Jones was. That's just my take. I know that I didn't mean to get you so upset here on this on my first show back in a couple of weeks, right? Sorry, but who do we bring in?
We haven't talked Patriots in a while, even before the baby miracle came. So that's different. But there's no miracle in room one. It's done. It's over.
None.
And it's unbelievable. Listen, on the surface, on paper, sure. Yeah, AVP looked the best of them all eventually. Yeah. But even him, his dumbass had to come around too, because he was acting like Drake May couldn't play it. I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? So it's footwork, man. I said, there's a bad footwork or not. That man can backpedal to better offense than what Jacoby Brissett anybody else was doing on that team. What I will say, and because we seen it yesterday, I will say May and Milton need to be your 1-2 for the future. For right now, Milton should absolutely be the backup going forward. Absolutely.
Or you just trade him for maybe you can get like a dude. We still need an offensive line. I mean, I love Joe Milton.
I hear you, but the only reason why I'm apprehensive about that is when they've drafted these interior linemen in rounds 3, 4, and 5, who was panned out recently?
Oh, nobody.
Nobody. So, to me,
I mean, you
I
can't
don't
keep, but this is like the Celtics thing, like that. Shoot 7 of 41 one night, but I mean, keep shooting.
sure, but my thing is at least just have 1 or 2 hit, right? Like you're saying, right? Just have 1 or 2 hit. Um, I'm more concerned what they do at the top of the draft for rounds 1 and 2. And we'll talk about that as it gets closer. I already have a list of names that I've been looking at. I'm a nerd when it comes to shit like that, but we'll get into that. But yeah, like I don't know, man. Some's got to give, and everyone's got to go, bro. Like the
I
fact that
agree.
we have Covington being gone is a joke. The only guy to keep is Jeremy Springer because he got it, and I once again, your only Pro Bowler came for special teams, even though it should have been Gonzo. Gonzo should have been a Pro Bowler. Um, like I don't know how that doesn't happen. That's unbelievable to me that Christian Gonzalez is not a Pro Bowler. Wild. Absolutely wild.
Um,
But it's cool. You'll get the rest in the offseason. It's cool. But like to me, he'd been locking down some of your favorite receivers all year. Not an opinion, that's a fact. So
before we get into who could possibly replace Mayo,
mhm.
was it a fireable offense in and of itself just to win that game yesterday?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once again, as fans, we can feel that way. I totally now I've been someone that says, hey, you gotta go out and win games, right?
Yeah,
Like that I've been a big supporter of that. So yeah, you can't tell the locker room to tank. You can't do that. You gotta say, hey, we go out with on a positive note, and they did for them in the locker room. So great, cool.
well,
But
and because Buffalo played their third stringers.
yeah, I mean, it's clear that them and Kansas City threw the game. It's clear.
Oh
It's
yeah,
clear. Um, and once again, I don't think people expected Joe Milton to play that well.
no, of
And,
course not.
and the reason why I can say that because you can hear in the comments like, just start Joe. So they thought he was going to be terrible because he showed some nice moments in the preseason, but that from what we saw in the preseason, it was like, oof, whoa, and like I was like, wow, that dart to Keyshawn Wood, I was like, whoa, like because they couldn't have done this because it wouldn't have looked right in the middle of the year, but I'm like, I'm like, we could have started Joe until week 6.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, you could start Joe to week 6 and just say, okay, go out there, Joe.
He was cheaper than Brissett. He's more
Mhm.
athletically gifted than Brissett. What I mean, there is no reason in theory to not start him. Although
But the offense, you can't have the guy that you drafted in the 6th round.
started, but yeah, I know the offensive breath.
This is the whole different thing. The whole different
Right.
thing. um,
Um,
but it's crazy. Yeah,
who are
but
they
I mean,
going
yeah,
after?
he did good, unfortunately.
Who do you want them to go after?
Ben Johnson.
I
I
know.
like Vrabel, and I understand why folks are saying that. It's time we get away from the regime completely. I I don't want
Well,
any
Vrabel isn't part of the Belichick regime. He's never coached under Belichick ever, ever, ever.
anybody they feel comfortable with, I don't want. No, I'm serious because it's like if they're comfortable with them, they won't do what they're supposed to do.
Well,
And
they want their guy. They want their next coach to work with Elliott Wolf.
I don't what does he have? Does he have photos on Robert Kraft?
Oh, he's got some of those massage photos. He must.
'Cause I'm just like at this moment, what are we doing? Like, why? Because your father's Ron Wolf?
He wrote the book, The Packer Way,
Well,
Patriot
hello.
Way. Come on.
His son is writing the Lose Away right now. It's not good.
Well,
It's not
I
good. Like
so
can't develop talent. Um, don't win no talent, but hit him in the face.
okay, but can we at least now? I'm trying to be more generous here.
I'm trying too. I'm trying.
I don't give him any credit for May.
Exactly.
Do you really give him a lot of crap for Polk? wasn't that the right spot to take him? They didn't reach for him.
Wait, but before I answer that, you believe that? Like,
Yeah,
with all your heart, you believe that?
yeah.
That was their reach?
I mean,
When
I mean, you shouldn't have traded the Chargers pick, and then
Oh, okay, thank you.
right,
I was
right,
about
right,
to say,
right,
like,
right.
I'm like,
But if every
what are we doing here?
no, if everything,
Um,
but if everything else happened the way that it did, and you still had that pick, and Jaylen Polk and everyone else is on the board, knowing what you
you
knew
take
then,
Ladd. You take Ladd.
right? That's knowing what you know now, but knowing what you know
No,
then.
even no. At 34, because I was like, okay, he's gonna be there. I didn't know much about Pork. I knew about Dunze because I knew he was probably gonna go top 10, and he did to Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know much about Dillable. I knew about Ladd because he was in Georgia and I seen his combine, and I'm like, this is a Patriot receiver. We knew this, but because you can't take Ladd, and we got Plum Douglas, huh? Like he's better than Pop. Look at the numbers. Once again, and I say this on the show all the time. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And the worst part, Mike, we say you seen him come into your building and he ran all over your defense. It had not one but 2 touchdowns. It
So
was dancing only your end zone.
Jaylen Polk ended the year with 12 catches for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
Not great.
So 7 yards of reception.
Yeah, no,
7 yards, well, 7.2, whatever.
that's not good.
7.2. Not good.
To put
So,
that in
not
comparison,
looking numbers.
Ladd McConkie had 82 catches for 1,149 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Wow.
Averaged 71 yards a game.
Mm, mm. Unreal. And once again, you're not telling me he wouldn't have got those type of numbers with Drake. Because Drake can sling it. Drake can
Yeah.
sling it. And if you had a guy that would catch the ball on a regular basis, I do think, once again, Kayshon Boutte, you keep him going forward. I think that he emerged as someone that could be here going forward. He's become the most consistent. He went from
Yes.
being in the doghouse with Bill. He's helped them make a name for himself a little bit. He's kind of in that Jacoby Myers, Troy Brown ilk for me.
Love that.
Pre-Raider fumble. Well, not even fumble, pre-Raider blunder. It wasn't a fumble. He thought I don't know what the fuck he was thinking,
You
but
just throw it. You just throw it.
yeah, just do it. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, he's in that category. So I think that if he continues to build and grow, you know, he'll never be a 1, but he'd be a really good 2 or an excellent 3.